laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more. They can't see you really. So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sonshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Sonshine State. My name is Sonshine Wiley and I am your host. This is part 2 of the episode of being Black, female, and protected and the possibilities surrounding it. This is definitely a heavy topic, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to talk with my 3 guests, Misha, Marco, and PJ McSwain. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. And as always, I am super excited about the things that you're about to hear. This conversation definitely packed in a lot of perspectives and a lot of thought processes and a lot of things that people consider when thinking about protecting the women of our society. And I will be honest with you, there are some things that I didn't even think about when going into the conversation, but I'm glad that I was able to hear some different perspectives. One thing that I do want to say is I appreciate every last person who has been tuning in. These are definitely not easy topics to listen to, much less be involved in. So I appreciate every last person who has been involved in any kind of way with the Sonshine State. So without further ado, here is part 2 of being Black, female, and protected.
Why is it difficult for a black woman to stand down?
It's not difficult for every black woman to stand down, but it's difficult for some to stand down because they felt like they've had to step up so much. And it's like, a lot of times we feel like we can't let our guard down because when we have let our guard down, we've been hurt. A lot of women that I know feel that way. We try to soften up sometimes, and then we feel like that's when we're being taken advantage of, or that's when we feel the least protected. And so when someone comes in who's genuinely wanting to protect us and wanting to be that helpmate, and
You have to relearn how to...
You have to, because now you've been conditioned to be a certain way. That's like if you're in the military and you wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. When you become a civilian, you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. It's going to take some time to unlearn some of the damaging behaviors that you know. And that's with anything. And it's generational. And because it's generational, it almost becomes genetic. Because somebody told you that, and somebody told them that, and sometimes you don't even know why you believe something, or you don't even know why you're so strong and so strong-willed, but because you saw, that's what you saw, and the person before you saw that, so you just learn that, and it's a learned habit, and it's ingrained in you. So sometimes we just don't know how to do that, just like sometimes a man just does not know how to just hold a woman when she just wants to be held. He's like, no, man, get off of me. No, this is me trying to be soft, but a man is like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to be tender. Guys think that. Not all guys, but some guys, a lot of black men think that, it's soft for a man to cry. Like we supposed to be this strong person. We all, black women and black men, feel like we have a reputation to uphold of being strong all the time.
And it even becomes at home, a competition.
Yeah, it becomes.
Are we fighting for power? Is it a power struggle?
These are all good questions.
They're very good questions.
Is relationships political? Do politics come into relationships?
I think sometimes they do, yeah. Because I know for me, a lot of times when I was in relationships, like if I felt like I was in a relationship where I wasn't allowed to fully express myself, then I would feel like I would have to try to assert myself, because it's like, you're not listening to me. And like, the one thing that I want is just to be understood. And it's just like, chill. If you would just have a conversation and say that, I feel like you don't listen to me, or I feel like, my feelings are invalid, or I feel like I'm misunderstood. And it would be nice if you would try to understand my perspective sometimes. I do my best to understand yours. It would be nice to receive the same in return. But instead of, coming out like that and saying that, it's like it comes out like in a bark or an order or something that's snide or whatever. And it's like, yo, it didn't even have to come off that way.
Yeah, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it.
Right.
So even if you're having conversations like
but
that...
some people are triggered by the fact that you said it, period.
Yeah, but you know what? I've learned something. When you're talking to somebody, you're trying to explain how you want to be treated, or how your feelings are valid, and how you want to be accepted as who you are and what you're doing. It's I was taught that it's great to start off with a compliment. Right. You know what? You're so great at doing X, Y, Z, and you're so awesome. You're spiritual. You're artistic, and all that. It's just one little thing I just need you to do, and that'll open up the floodgates and let them know, okay, I'm cool. All right.
But what if they try to turn it back on you? Well, I need you to do this.
Okay.
Well, some men feel like, why do we even have to have this conversation? You see me providing for you every day. You see me going out of my way, putting my life in jeopardy to protect you all the time. Like, so why are we sitting up here having these distrust conversations? These conversations. You see me going to work. You see me cooking dinner. You see me helping out. You see me, like, so understand, as far as communication. Communication is powerful. And I know they say, there's no stupid conversations, but some conversations do seem a little silly, because it's like every day I'm here, how I'm with her, and I'm here.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? Protection and providing doesn't equal love. Because you can provide for your children and still abuse them.
True.
You can provide something for yourself, which is a job or whatever, and you can start taking drugs and abuse yourself. That doesn't equate love, and we need to stop that now. I really think that
so providing for somebody don't equate love.
No.
It can be a symptom of
it.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's automatically that.
Because my grandmother, she never said I love you, but my socks was always clean. Like, that's how that's her form of love.
Yeah.
And some of her kids felt like they wanted to hear I love you all the time.
Yeah.
But the way she showed love was by getting up early in the morning, cooking breakfast, making sure she jump on that bus, go to the grocery store, get those groceries, bring them back home, get her little buggy, and make sure all the little house stuff is done. That's how she showed love.
Yeah, okay, let me take it biblical real quick. We know that Jesus died on the cross for us so that we could have an everlasting life. But the only thing that made you really know that Christ loved you is when he said, I love you with an everlasting love. Now, if he would have died on the cross and said, I did it for you, you would have said, I wouldn't have asked you for it.
I would have to challenge you on that. I think the way we saw his love was by his action on the cross.
Yeah.
It was not just that he said, I love you with an everlasting love. No, his action hung there. He bled. He walked on the earth for 30 days and showed himself to all those who were doubting him. Yeah. And resurrected,
Yeah, but
so it was action. It wasn't just words. It was action.
But it was a marriage between the two.
And
it was a marriage between the two.
And this is the thing. There are some people who need to hear that, and there's some people who need to see that. And the difference is communicating. If you're a person who needs to see it and a person who needs to hear it, because some people learn by doing, and some people learn by reading. You can read a million books and be ignorant.
Yes.
But you can watch somebody build a house. They can hand you a hammer, and you're like, "Oh, this is how it's done." I understand. That's the thing. Not every person learns one way.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel a lot of ladies get in abusive relationships because oftentimes you got a guy that's giving them everything they want to hear. He's giving them those words that she want to hear. He's giving them that flattery. Those he's saying those things that she wants to hear. But his actions are so abusive. So to me, talk is cheap to me. You know, if okay, you can have all the nice words there. You can have, man, and many people are really great with words. But actions, if you constantly getting beat up and abuse and situations are turning violent and all that, I don't care what they say.
But that's
what they do is what's most important. You know a tree by its fruit, not by its words.
And that's why it's important to have balance.
Right. And
that's why it's important.
You can probably marry it too.
Because like you are absolutely right. There are definitely people out there who can paint a picture, say the words, write a sonata, make a poem, all that good stuff. And girl, you just the finest thing I'd never saw in my life, and I just want to be with you every day of the child. You get that? I mean, like, I drink your dirty bath, what? All that kind of stuff. All these flattery words and all that kind of stuff. And you know,
they call
still
it finesse.
Exactly. Finessing you. Right.
A sister told me.
But then, right.
She knew the guy just got out of prison.
Right.
You know, just because a lot of those guys, they know how to finesse these sisters.
Right.
They come straight out the joint. They need a place to live. And what do? They finesse them, tell them what they want to hear and all this other stuff. You know, and so that's unfortunate. A lot of good guys out there that are, you know, that need good women, but the good woman is with the abusive man. True. Because she's with the dude that's finessing her, but abusing her.
And the thing is the intent. So you can be a person who says, "I'll drink your bath water and I'll do all this stuff," and the intent behind it is to finesse. That was never love in the beginning. There's somebody who constantly, all they know how to do is just tell you that they love you, and they genuinely believe that they love you, but they've never had an example of showing somebody love. They've only seen the example of telling somebody that they love them. And to them, that's love. It's all in what you believe. Like, it's all in what you've become, what you've made an agreement. So I can tell you, I can hold up an object and say, this is a fork, and it can be in brush. But you've never seen a brush or a fork. So whatever I tell you it is, that's what it is to you. So that's what some women are with love. They've never seen anybody genuinely be loved. And so they're like, oh, my mama got beat up and my daddy said he loved her, so that must be what love is. So that's where I say it's so complex of what people know. I'm actually, you know, as an adult learning that, you know, everybody had a different experience growing up. So some things that I thought was a given, you know, like common sense ain't common to everybody, you know.
Everybody doesn't have the same sense.
Yeah, what we think is common isn't. So when you try to break it down and say this is a blanket statement, everybody should do this way, it's like people can't wrap their head around things. There's people in Chicago who live on the south side who's never been downtown, you know, so they don't know anything about what a skyscraper look like. They like, oh, it's, you know, 15 floors in this building down the street, but you say there's 30. Oh, I can't get in that elevator. I'm afraid of it. And you're like, you're afraid to get in the elevator that goes, you know, higher. It's you can't fathom things like that because that's not your experience. Right. So that's where, you know, the breakdown of communication.
Exposed to something.
Right. If you've never been exposed to somebody who truly loves, like with action and word, then to you that's a unicorn. Like it doesn't exist. So.
And that's why it's good to have men like you guys, because you guys are, you know, are positive influences within the community. Like you guys are out there not just saying stuff with your mouth, but you're out there actually working with your hands, showing that you actually care about, you know, creating a safer community in Chicago, that you care about, you know, serving your communities, you care about restoring families, you care about the things, the causes that you guys are involved in. It's good to see that because everybody not y'all.
And they don't even know that men like you
exist.
Like, or there's some guys out there that don't know women like us exist.
Right.
I'm gonna be brief about it, but like I've gone on like first dates with guys and like I'd use a word and they'd be like, whoa, she's got a vocabulary. And I'm looking like,
that little cheesy
what,
word.
like I use the word, enamored, or I might use, something small. And I'm like, who have you been talking to?
Right.
And then I have to, remember in my, to myself that, everybody is not me.
Right.
And not that I'm just so special, but everybody.
You are special.
But you just have to realize, like, everybody doesn't experience the same things. And I think it's important for people to meet new people and to get out and see that, like, you write poetry. There's everybody thinks they're a rapper. Every teenager thinks they're a rapper. They don't realize that they're poets. Mm-hmm. They don't know, that there's a movie called I'm Not Your Negro. They don't know about these people. They don't know the Maya Angelou's and what they went through. And it might sound like a rap to them if we put it to if we put a Phenomenal Woman to a beat. They'll be like, oh, who was who wrote that? She was a poet. They don't know that this is a way to get out their feelings. They don't have that outlet. It's not, but they know that so and so went to the studio. They know, you were saying you were talking to your niece about, like, they don't know that religion is a way to have something to ground yourself. They're just out here blowing in the wind. They don't have these experiences. So it is important to have people like you guys.
Sunshine, can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
I just want to ask the ladies a question. How do you want to be protected by a man?
That's a great question. I know in my experiences, a lot of times I would have liked to have been protected. And it's hard to say, but sometimes it's good to have somebody being like, yo, that guy got something on him and you need to be careful. You need to watch out because he got a little something extra going on, and that could turn into something crazy quickly. One example. Another way could be like protecting me, like if I'm walking home or whatever, or if you see that I'm walking to my car, like things that you guys already do, other people don't really do that, but like just make sure that I get back to my car. Even if you don't actually physically walk me, watch me and make sure that I get into my car. People don't do that. Like, I don't know how many times I've had to walk with my keys in between my knuckles to create a weapon, to make sure that whoever comes near me, I can protect myself from. Because I've been in a situation at night walking by myself and a crackhead tried to come at me and I had to protect myself. I've been in that situation. I was new to Chicago, got off the train. I was living on the west side of Chicago, but I was living on the west side of Chicago, got off the Blue Line, and I was trying to go back to my house or whatever, and I had parked on Lake Street underneath the train stop or whatever, and I was working downtown, and I worked late that day, so I ended up getting back to my car like 7 o'clock, and it was winter, so it got dark early. So, dude was trying to come at me, and I had to basically kind of defend myself with my keys, because it's like, this dude sees a black woman, sees somebody who he feels is weaker than him, that he feels like he can overpower. And sometimes I just want to not feel like, I don't want to be scared to be by myself. That's what I want. I don't want to be scared to be by myself. I don't want to feel like I've also been attacked by black men by their words. I remember I was young. I was in college, and I was on like this tour, and I was talking. I've always been like really into music and stuff like that. So I was on the bus with like sitting around a whole lot of people, and then the musicians were sitting next to where me and this other girl were sitting, and a conversation came up about some album. I was like, oh yeah, that's dope, blah, blah, blah. And then the dude was like, who was talking to you? You weren't in this conversation. You're a reject. This, that. And it's just like, it's those moments that make you feel like, yo, I can't say, yeah, I like that person too. I can't interject and say, yeah, and they're like, no, this men speaking. You need to shut up. I'm like, okay.
But when you say that, what I think about? Mm-hmm. You say you've been attacked by men in their words. Mm-hmm. And you gave that example. Now, the first thing that I thought of, I'm like, okay, well, has she been attacked by another sister just like her?
Yes.
With their words.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we single out when black men do it? And that's something that we all do.
That's true.
To each other.
Yeah.
But I feel like we segment it and we put a gender on it, and we say, well, you know, this is what black men do, when collectively we as a community, we use our words to attack each other. We use our words to put each other down. And I don't think it's a gender thing, but we do segment it like, oh,
True.
this is what black men
Right.
put black women down. No, we as a community, we all need to work on how we speak to each other, how we respect each other, how we honor each other.
That's true. That's true.
And I'll even go in a different direction, but a woman can protect herself against a woman.
Yeah.
Do you literally think that a woman can protect herself against physically a man?
Well, she was talking about verbally just now.
Oh, but
how she was attacked.
But she started out with physically, though.
Yeah, she mentioned she was walking by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even with the physical part, a woman is afraid of a man, and I think that's usually because of probably something that she saw as a kid. Probably she saw her uncles beating her aunts and stuff like that, and so that led to her being receptive to being verbally abused because she thought that was something that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that it's not just a man-woman thing, but at the same time, let's just go back to the original subject. Women, especially black women, are not protected by black men because the black men that are like us, that are changing communities, that are raising a different generation, aren't having these conversations with the younger men or the men that we have that are friends that we know that are trash, and yet we say, oh, that's my boy, he cool. No, you know he treated this girl like trash. Why don't you check him on that? Not in front of her so she can disrespect him.
Right.
But on the side, like, yo, bro, like, yo, chill
Pull him
out.
to the side.
You a man. Take your feelings and deal with them. Don't deal with them on her.
Yeah, it's part of me that wants to challenge this idea that black men don't protect sisters because, man, it's a lot of people that are locked up. A lot of black men are locked up from simply trying to protect the women in their families.
Most stuff.
It's just revenge, getting revenge for their sisters.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
And
Like they went and they killed the molester. They shot and killed the abuser who was abusing their woman, their girlfriend. They took revenge. They didn't wait on the police. They did it themselves. And so, like, I don't, it's kind of hard.
It's definitely difficult.
It's hard for me to hear that we as black men, we don't protect our sisters when I see and I know all around this country is black men sitting behind the cell and all they was trying to do was protect their sisters.
And again, that's the thing with that. It's a complexity because we're not saying all, and it's never a blanket statement.
Right.
But the conversation that we're having is that particular subject because we, as he brought up, checking your boy. That's a whole nother conversation too. Why are black men afraid, or why are some black men afraid to challenge the people in their circle?
Why is
and
guys
why
code so much? Why is guys code so much more important than doing what's right?
Right, because I know some men that are afraid of other men, but they'll beat up on a woman. Like, where's your mind at, bro?
And just like you said, there are men behind bars for shooting the abuser or whatever.
So it creates fear.
In the media now, it's the young lady who killed the man who had her sex trafficking
when she was 15.
And she's in jail for defending herself. So these things, there's a million different angles that you can look at the situation, but the conversation being had and the question was, how do we feel like we need to be protected? And I think it also begins with when someone's saying this is what I need, not necessarily just challenging, not necessarily challenging what they're saying, and just looking at from her perspective, her feelings are valid. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel. Like if I step on something and you step on something, your pain tolerance is different than mine. So from your perspective, it might not be that what that person said to her on that bus might not be that harsh to you, but in that moment she could have been, it could have hit her a certain way, and everybody's entitled to feeling a certain way. And I think the conversation has to start at a place where everybody respects what somebody else is feeling. And I don't think that everybody comes, not necessarily you, but I don't think that everybody comes into a conversation with the intent to listen. They come to the conversation with the intent to defend their position, and that's where the breakdown in communication happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm saying that her feelings are invalid or not important, or that it didn't happen. Somebody was following her. She felt threatened. Man, this is such a needed conversation just because, like, I had a friend, she was on Facebook, she got attacked by a guy going to the grocery store, and I know this sister is married, you know, and I know there's part to this conversation where women, they don't want to do everything with their husbands. They don't want to do everything. I mean, there's a certain element to where she wants to keep a certain level of her independence.
And I think that's what you were saying. We should.
I don't want to have to feel like I gotta bring my husband to the grocery store.
Why is it not?
I mean, if he comes to the grocery store, cool, fine. I don't care.
Why not take your husband to?
I don't mind. Why not? I wouldn't mind it.
Are you taking your wife to the barber, your boys?
Or to the barbershop?
I don't know
anything.
Exactly.
I'm gonna hold my own.
And
but we are called to protect her.
And she don't need to be protected all the time.
Yes, she do. If it's suckers on the corner that are disrespectful and that don't care about her and that will lay their hands on her, and she needs to be protected.
Okay, that's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. Those suckers on the corner is somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, somebody's nephew who didn't get checked by that guy that he was talking about. And why do they even feel like they need to be a predator? Why that's the whole
How can we break that?
I don't know why he feel that way.
That's what we said.
But if he ever feel that way with my woman, it's my job to make sure she's straight.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. And that's
I'm not trying to wonder why did he become a predator? Why, if he take it there,
Leave them where he at.
And that's the thing that we were saying. Like in our immediate circle of people, 9 times out of 10 we feel protected. Yeah. But the thing is, like,
outside of our,
you gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. I gotta get back home. Some kind of way. We can't be joint at the hip. And when we're not joint at the hip, somebody needs to tell, TT and them standing in front of the store that, hey, just because I look good or just because my girl got on something fly, that it's not the hands off. Like, stay in your place. She's not disrespecting you. Don't disrespect her. And that's what we're saying.
Of course,
There's times where she has to allow me to protect you. Some things ain't wise for you to go by yourself.
True.
And so if we are item, like, why are we still doing all this separate stuff?
But see, everybody don't.
Because people are not committed.
I mean, people
that's
are
true.
committed.
I mean, at the core, they're probably not. Like, if you feel like you can really step out on who you are with, like, you're really not committed.
But it's a lack on you, not them.
Right. It definitely is. And I'm honestly, at some point, you got to realize when things are just done.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the C word again, communicate. If you communicate from the beginning that you need X, Y, and Z, and that changes what you need, like, oh, I no longer desire this, and you don't have that conversation with your person who's in this with you, and that's when doors open to other rooms.
Yeah.
Because that person can be willing to evolve with you. Yeah. But because you didn't have that conversation, you didn't give them that chance.
Give them a choice whether they want to evolve with you or leave it where it is.
Or if you have that conversation and they're not willing to evolve with you,
right?
That's when. So there's there's a myriad of ways that those things can happen.
At the end of the day, this is definitely a bigger conversation than what we have time for today. So, just to sum it up, I appreciate every last one of you guys for being here. I appreciate all the conversation, the comments, because it really was thought-provoking, and it really did cause me to think about some things, and more than likely other people to think about it as well. I definitely feel like hearing the male perspective is necessary, and it's something we need to continue to be able to do, especially in this day and age with all the things that are going on now. So I do appreciate you guys for being here. I thank you guys all for listening. Again, my name is Sonshine Wiley. I am your host for the Sonshine State. You can look us up on our website, www.sonshinestate.com. Again, that is www.sonshinestate.com. That's sunshine with an O, state.com. Also available on Facebook, as well as Instagram at Sonshine State Vibes. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. We are also available on iTunes, Google Play, as well as SoundCloud. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us today. Embrace gratitude and have a good week.
So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be.
Thank you for joining the journey to the Sonshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.